All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Pony, I want to touch on this for a little bit and then move on, but I want to ask you about Marquise Pouncey. He went on Instagram today and said moving forward that he will make his own decision what's on the back of it helmet, and it doesn't sound like it will be Antoine Rose Jr.'s name, saying that he was given limited information on the situation regarding Rose Jr. What do you make what's going on right now? Villanueva was in the news yesterday for not having Rose's name on the back of his helmet. I thought we were all going to do this as a team. And now Pouncey is moving forward and is going to do something different. My question to you is it two-parter? Is this a distraction for the Steelers coming up, which it potentially could be because it's now 2 days that everyone's talking about it? And the second part of my question, what do the Steelers do now? I mean, as a team, where do they move on from here? How do they move on?
Well, it's hard to answer those questions because no one seems to be telling the same story. Is that we're getting so many mixed messages. You know, Minkah Fitzpatrick said today that the decision was basically made up top, that it was out of their hands as to what they did with their helmets, and it was something above the player's pay grade. And yet, if you go to Steelers.com, there was a story there before the opener about Mike Tomlin interacting with Antoine Rose's mother. And according to, and this is from the Steelers website, according to the late Antoine Rose's mom, she said that Tomlin told her that the players voted to do it. So I don't know what to think, Richie. The statement that Art Rooney put out today pretty much said, we respect and support whatever players do, whether they do it collectively or they do it individually. And that kind of, to me, gave them a license to handle this however they see fit. My understanding of this whole thing when it started, I don't mean just the Steelers. I mean when the NFL decided that they wanted to give players a voice here in all of this, to express how they feel about what's going on in America right now. I thought it was, all right, players, you decide. Now, that might mean players, 53 guys in a locker room. That might mean every person for themselves. But it was just very startling to hear, in my opinion, Minkah say, well, no, this was something that was done at the top, because I don't think that's what the NFL wanted here. Me, I would let everybody do whatever they want. If somebody wants Steelers on the back of their helmet, fine. If they want to put Antoine Rose's name on it, fine. But I will also acknowledge at this point, it seems like you're never going to make everybody happy now, Richie. It seems like they've created a problem that is going to end with them getting criticized for a long time for it.
Yeah, criticized no matter what they do. And I think at this point, I think you just leave it up to the players right now. Let's go out to Tom in Monongahela. How you doing, Tom?
Good. How are you doing, Rich?
Good.
I just want to know a comment and your thoughts. I couldn't wait for football to start, and I watched the pregame show, and it was all about, the first half was about, the racial things. Why is it that football got, the players involved? I mean, every time I turn the TV on, I hear this 24/7. Why is it that like kind of taken out of football and let the players just play and like kind of dragging them into this in a way, and just let this go? There's a time and place for this.
Pony, you want to touch on that?
Well, I think the NFL was legitimately concerned that if they did not give NFL players a chance to speak their mind on this, that they might not play. Right? I mean, to me, as far as like opt-outs go, initially it was about COVID-19 and health concerns, but I also think there are a lot of, the majority of the league, African-American players. This is a cause that many of them feel strongly about. And if you ignore that and don't do anything about it, well, then the NFL is going to get criticized for, look at the way that they get killed for the way they've handled Kaepernick and not getting him back into the league. So I think they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. As a viewer, to me, I'm going to watch football. And so if sometimes these two things intersect, okay, fine. But it's not going to be such a big turnoff, Richie, that I'm not going to watch the games. I still enjoyed Steelers-Giants. It did not detract or take away from my enjoyment of that game Monday night.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game too. Let's go out to Stez. What's up, Stez?
Hey, gentlemen. Just want to talk about the running back situation, but before I do, I'd like to recognize, and I hope everybody's not forgotten it, what James Conner went through to get to where he's at now, and that in itself is
Hey, Stez, we're not discounting that at all.
Oh, I know you're not.
And he wants to move on from that. He doesn't even want to answer those questions anymore.
Of course, and I know you're not. I'm just putting that out there before I start to bash him. That's
all.
I'm
Okay.
just showing a little bit of respect. That's all. But with that being said, that ship has sailed with James Conner. He's a glass house, and when healthy, he looks like he's running with 20-pound leg weights on both legs. I think his 40 time was like a 4.65. And going forward next week, Benny Snell needs to be the starting running back. I don't care what anybody says. That man proved himself week 1. And whether or not he is the star starter, the high-profile pick coming out of college or anything like that, Benny Snell proved himself, and we will leave it at that. You gentlemen have a great night.
Stez, I don't think it's going to happen, Pony. We just discussed this a little bit. I don't think you're going to see Snell as a starting running back. Maybe they split carries, but I think if Conner's healthy, he's going to be your starter.
Well, I would not have a long leash at all. In fact, I'd have him on the sideline, and if Snell struggled, then maybe I would flip it. To me, splitting it up evenly and saying, well, in the fourth quarter, the better man will win by then, we'll have picked a guy to get the carries late in the game. No, I want Benny Snell. I want the coach's confidence in the team behind him, and I want him from the very first snap in the game to be the guy in the backfield. And if he, fumbles or if he struggles, all right, well, then James Conner, it's your turn. But it's Benny Snell, in my opinion, it should be his job to lose.
And you can't even say that James Conner has better hands, that he's going to hold on to the ball because he's lost a couple games for the Steelers down the stretch. So I don't even think that is something to weigh here because, Conner's fumbled more than Snell.
Well, he's fumbled in critical situations. And Snell did too, but lucky for him, Juju Smith-Schuster recovered the ball. Now, if the Giants do and they go on to win the game, would I have a different opinion? Maybe. I mean, from that moment on, though, what I liked about Snell, Richie, is that he didn't let the fumble bother him. He was still in the game, he was still running hard, and he was still picking up important yards in the fourth quarter to help the Steelers win the game.
All right, let's go out to our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day. And it was a tweet from the Steelers injury report here I tweeted out earlier. DeCastro.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, it's me. DeCastro, I was looking for something from you today. DeCastro, Wisniewski, only 2 players not to practice today. I mean, but look, the injury list, Pony, looks so much better. Everyone's full participant except for those 2 guys. I would imagine those 2 guys are going to be at a couple weeks now, especially Wisniewski.
And I'm excited to watch Dotson to see what he can do out there. I was big on that draft pick.
Yeah, me too. All right, we got to take a break. More of your phone calls and some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.